Farm Tableau is a series looking at farming as a central subject. Since the 19th century, farming has not really been used as a framework for contemporary artwork. You would have had artists romanticizing and producing works looking at farmers gleaning or harvesting, but probably since the 1900s, farming as a central subject to either national building identity or to even observation has kind of disappeared. So as a photographer, I was interested in seeing if I could look at farming in a contemporary framework and allow it to be a subject not only for contemporary art, but use innovative ways in which to show farming and farmers in their daily life. I chose to work in Google Street View because it's something that is easily accessible. Everyone has an opportunity to, if they have access to the internet, to go online. And you'll notice that we're in Google Maps. Within Google Maps, I've actually worked with a Google Street View photographer, John M Lynch, to partner and produce a series of tableaus or artworks within the Google engine. And I'm going to take you through in order for you to see one of these in particular. So if I type in Finley's Rhododendrons, and you can start to see it comes up, you'll come to a location within Surrey, British Columbia. You've got three options. You can see photographs attached to the farm. You can actually go and see in context where the farm's located, which is a very residential area of Surrey. And we can go physically inside. And it's when we go inside do we actually come across the artwork. And Finley's Rhododendrons, as the name states, is owned by the Finley family, and they prune, manicure, grow, and propagate rhododendron plants. But it's not a typical farm in the way you associate sort of crops and other types of agricultural products that are harvested. It almost appears as though we are in a forest or a park. And so we can kind of transverse around here, and we can see this is a beautiful 5-acre plot within Surrey, British Columbia that just kind of shifts what we anticipate of a production center. In the distance, we also have some other types of content that we can also come explore. And what you'll come across is when you're working in a particular medium like Google Street View, sometimes you actually have to understand how you might author the work. And so this is a portrait of myself. We can actually zoom in, and you can see a reference there to sylviagraceborda.com, my website, and you can see me sort of standing in silhouette. This is how I've signed the work. It's very hard when you're working within a new platform to actually find a way in which to sign it, and so this is one way that I chose to do this. Now, always follow the chevron arrows and you can kind of come across other parts of the tableau. So we have this figure here, Sue, who's the master sort of gardener and producer at work. And we can come across her there within the scene. And because it's Google Street View, she's blurred. But we also have this ability to go elsewhere within Google. And you can sort of spin around. And what we're going to do is we're going to start taking one of these forestry paths. And what we start to come across is we can actually start exploring fully this forest and seeing some of the rhododendrons that are within the space. And there's Sue still in action. What makes the work really unusual is that all the participants, in order to form the tableau, had to actually stand still for close to 40 minutes, and that includes myself. And again, we can kind of see the path that we've come from. We can see more of the rhododendrons. And we can also literally see how tall this old growth area is within Surrey, British Columbia, which is part of the farm. And it sustains the rhododendrons really well, this type of environment. We have two options to move here and here. I'm going to just choose the right-hand side. And as we do this, we start to come across this housing. And part of the duty of maintaining this type of farm is that you have to water and irrigate it. And for a lot of farmers on smaller plots, that actually means that it's done by hand. And yet again, we come across a farmer in action here. This is Chris, and he's just gathering up the hoses used from the day. Again, he stood motionless for the Google cameras to record and capture him in what seems like a typical daily routine. For myself as an artist, this ability to give you a tableau or to see a scene that's specifically staged for the camera is something that I wanted to do, but I also wanted to create this dimensional photograph that not only could you come across this image, which I would consider a complete artwork that would be printed out and would go to exhibition, but you could see other variables within the space. In this way, I'm breaking notions that are associated with Susan Sontag, the idea that everything sort of exists within a fixed frame. Here there is no fixed frame. You pretty well have this ability to see everything in, around, above, and beyond. And this is another tableau that's also being created within the Google Street Engine. As someone who's been born and raised and educated in Vancouver, I'm also working from sort of a longer trajectory of the arts. And in particular, there's no doubt that we're influenced by folks like Jeff Wall. Here's a work, Ivan Savers, costume historian, lectures at the University Women's Club, Vancouver, December 7th, 2009. You know, he also makes reference to Virginia Newton Moss wears a British ensemble circa 1910 from Sawyer's collection. The image has been produced in 2009. In the same way, my FARM TABLEAUX actually is about staging someone so that they stand still or they stand in action for the camera to record it. So this is completely what would be a daily routine, but effectively the participants have stood motionless in order for the camera to move in and around them so that they can be captured. And this makes this artwork rather unique and different than other artists who typically downsample material from Google. This has been specifically staged within Google. If you'd like to learn more about the FARM TABLEAUX series, please visit fieldstudies.ca. You can also see other FARM TABLEAUX material that has been consolidated on my artist website at sylviagborda.com. Additionally, you can look for news articles, which includes photographers create first artworks in Google Street View, names myself, my partner Google Street View photographer John M Lynch, but additionally enables you to find the 5 farms that have been made into FARM TABLEAUX and that can be explored by the public.